Hello and welcome to La Rosa Reads. I'm Denise La Rosa, and today I cannot wait to share with all of my love bugs my reading plans for February. Let's talk books. All right, so we are into the second month of the year, and I am continuing on with my little project of asking you, yes, you, to help me choose my TBR. We are featuring this month the wonderful, lovely, fantabulous Bonnie over from Books with Bonnie. She has chosen not one, not two, but 3 books for me to add to my February TBR. I can't wait to dive into these fun reads. The first one has been in my Goodreads to be read file for quite a while, and it is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I love Elizabeth Acevedo. I have read 2 books from her. They were With the Fire on High and Clap When You Land. She has a book coming out, her first grown-up novel. That sounds really degrading. No, her first novel for adults, because all of her prior books have been for young adults. So her first official novel is Family Lore, that's coming out later this year. And The Poet X was like her first work, and the first thing that I put on my TBR of hers, yet it's the book I haven't read yet. Bonnie said she wants to change that. So she recommended that I read The Poet X this month. She also recommended that I read The Inheritance Game. The Inheritance Games is a book that I had absolutely no plans of reading, but once Bonnie brought it my way, I thought to myself, why have I not been interested in reading this book? It sounds amazing. So we're dealing with money, with family drama, with this random person who gets most of the inheritance and the family's left high and dry. And so we have jealousy, vengefulness, envy, drama. It sounds like a good time to your girl. I can't wait. The third book that Bonnie wants me to read this month is Music is History by Questlove. This book is already sitting on my shelves, and I am ready to dust it off and dive in this month. I think it's very fitting, given that this month is Black History Month. I knew in my heart of hearts this was a book that I was either going to read during Black History Month or Music History Month, which is June. Bonnie decided for me that February is the time to read Music is History. Finlay Donovan is my girl, y'all, and her third book is just waiting for me to read. This third book in the series is titled Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. I'm not even going to read the synopsis. I am jumping into this book just knowing what I know about Finlay and her sidekick Vero, and where the previous book left off, and that was Finlay Donovan Knocks Them Dead. So I'm not going to say much about it other than I can't wait to read it. It is actually the book selection for February with the Literally Dead Book Club, which is hosted by Books and Lala, Kayla over at Books and Lala. So I'm going to participate in that book club. This will be, I think, my 3rd time participating in the Literally Dead Book Club. I've been enjoying it. It's really stretching me. These mysteries, thrillers aren't typically my go-to genre, but I just love Books and Lala's channel, or the channel Books and Lala, and I'm looking forward to reading Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun. So we've talked about Finlay, and now it's time to dive back into Blackness, because it is Black History Month, and although I read a lot of books by Black authors and about the Black lived experience, I really want to put a spotlight on those types of books this month, and I'm going to be reading Pride and Protest by Nikki Payne. This is a book that is a spin-off, like a little play on Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. So I enjoyed that book last year, and I know that this book is going to be right up my alley. We have Liza and Dorsey. And yes, Liza and Dorsey are the names of the characters, the 2 main characters in this book. And, you know, it's one of those things where Liza is all about protesting against this soulless property developer that's trying to drop unaffordable condos in this neighborhood in DC. She's against it. And the smoldering hot CEO by the name of Dorsey is like going toe to toe with Liza, but then sparks begin to fly. Those of you who have read Pride and Prejudice get where this is going. I can't wait to read Pride and Protest by Nikki pain. Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan has been in everyone's hands lately, it feels, at least everyone I follow on IG. And I want to join the party. And I love this grown folks romance that's dealing with co-parenting. It's dealing with pregnancy loss. It's dealing with raising children from a quote unquote broken home, but not allowing your children to feel broken. I am looking forward to reading this book. I have a feeling that Kennedy Ryan might be one of my go-to authors after reading this book. I haven't read any of her previous or prior novels, but the vibes are just giving me the sense that, and the feeling that I'm going to enjoy her. It kind of gives me a Lisa Cross Smith kind of feel. And of course, according to Colleen Hoover, this is raw, real, and magnificent. I don't care what Colleen Hoover has to say about this book. That is insignificant to me. It's what all of you have had to say that has made me interested in reading Before I Let Go. And then there's Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. This is my classic selection by a Black author that I'm choosing to read this month. My goal is to read a classic by a Black author every month, at least one. And so Kindred is the one for me in February. I really enjoyed Parable of the Sower. It really stretched me. It took me places that I don't often go as a reader. And this apparently is her first sci-fi novel. And I just love the premise, the idea of it. And I'm looking forward to watching the series as well. So Kindred is going to be on my TBR. Well, it is on my TBR. What am I saying? I'm going to read it in the month of February. We have a debut author's arrival, and I'm telling you, Jamila Minix is not playing with us, okay? For a debut novel, this book is everything, and it is titled Moonrise over New Jessup. This is a book that really grapples with Black people forming and building up communities that celebrate us, that tries to give us a new opportunity for success in all that means, whether it's wealth, familial success. And this is taking place in the 1950s, at a time where that was not really an easy feat. And so we have these characters that are grappling with their community of New Jessup and really trying to protect their community from the quote unquote rising pressure of upheaval from inside and outside their side of town. So Alice is a character from New Jessup that falls in love with Raymond Campbell, and he's got some organizing activities that are happening that kind of go against what she's trying to do. So she's balancing her underlying support of his underground work and her desire to protect New Jessup. So it sounds like we have conflict, internal conflict with this character, and I love me some internal conflict. So Moonrise over New Jessup might be a favorite. We shall see. Now, the book recommendations keep on coming from a wide variety of book communities. We have booktubers that are giving me recommendations. We have La Rosa Reads subscribers and La Rosa Reads IG followers. We also have people in my day-to-day life, friends, colleagues, friends who also happen to be colleagues. And my dear friend and colleague, Ashley, literally put this book on my desk at work in my office. She had told me about it and she was like, no, you don't understand. Like, you need to read this book. And within minutes, she went to her office, pulled it from her shelves, and laid it on my desk. I have never heard of it, and it is titled Sing, Unburied Sing, a novel by Jesmyn Ward. I believe this came out in 2016. I'm going to double check. It's 2016 or 2014. I feel it was like one of the even number years. I am really curious. My interest is piqued, y'all. So, 2017. Go figure. And so, yeah, what is this book about? I want to know. I want to learn more. Oh, yay! Part ghost story, part road novel. This historic National Black Award winner, okay, Jesmyn, is a dazzling journey through Mississippi's past and present and an epic tale of hope and survival. Ooh, I'm drawn into this. Following a family making the trip from their Gulf Coast town to the Mississippi State Penitentiary, Sing, Unburied Sing tests the strength of emotional bonds and the pull of our collective history. In a haunted landscape for a family reeling from loss, the trip is fraught with danger. This gorgeous novel, animated by Ward's lush and vibrant language. Oh, I love that description, those descriptions. Lush and vibrant language is rich with connection, meaning, and healing. Now, y'all who have been around me know. Does this not sound like a La Rosa Reed? I think it does. Sing, Unburied, sing is after my heart. 2 more to go, baby. We have White Out by a wonderful group of incredible Black authors. We have Danielle Clayton. We have Tiffany D. Jackson. We have Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. Coming back at ya. I read Blackout last year, and I knew as soon as I heard about Whiteout that it had to be on my shelves. I purchased it on its release date. I did start, as you can see, I literally read one. This is a short story collection, so I literally read the first short story. This one's a little bit different, at least what I'm getting from it so far. So with the Blackout, we had a blackout that happened in New York City. In this book, we have a whiteout that's happening in Atlanta, Georgia. With the blackout, we had these characters that were interconnected, some knowingly and others unknowingly. They were interconnected characters, and I loved how one short story transitioned into another, and literally some moments of the transition looked like the characters literally passing each other by on the street, not even knowing who the other one was, but they were all headed towards the same destination, a block party. This book is interesting because it's still a collection of short stories, but what I'm getting so far is it's just extending this larger story and taking all the characters that comprise that larger story and giving them each of their moments. And I don't know how I feel about that. I really like it whenever short stories are kind of cut off, like they have their own separate thing going. Little moments of interconnection are just really beautifully done. I feel like I get that and I love that. And it was well done with the blackout. So I had to put this book away. I wasn't drawn to it. I'm hoping that will change. I want to read this in the month of February before the weather gets cold. So wish me luck. I don't want to be disappointed by this book. The Whiteout, I hope it is a party. All right, so I am looking in my audiobooks files here because I like to listen to at least one audiobook a month. It's just something that helps me move my reading along and get me out of my own thoughts, which sometimes, y'all, I got to do to survive. So I'm looking at one. I forget the title of it. Oh, here it is. So I purchased this audiobook to listen to in the month of February, and it's titled Lighter. Let go of the past, connect with the present, and expand the future. And it's written by Young Pueblo. I feel like I need a little, not self-help, but a little motivational listen, especially at the beginning of the year and these winter months. I'm one of those people, like, the weather makes me sad. If the weather is dark and dreary, I feel dark and dreary, and I try to get out of that. And so just the title in and of itself was like, oh, lighter. It's about feeling lighter and feeling good. So a radically compassionate plan for turning inward and lifting the heaviness that prevents us from healing ourselves and the world, from the New York Times bestselling author of Clarity and Connection. So, I'm not going to read this entire synopsis, but basically it's saying it demonstrates how we can all move forward in our healing, from learning self-compassion to letting go to becoming emotionally mature. And as the heaviness falls away, our minds will finally stop feeling overburdened with tension and will be able to reconnect with the present. I love that. I actually saw Alicia Keys' post on Instagram that was featuring this book. She had a quote or an excerpt from the book that she was sharing and talking about. I love whenever she does these talks that she calls a piece of peace. And I think that anything that she reads or shares that's around motivation, inspiration, it really makes me interested in learning more. So I'm looking forward to listening to Lighter. Can't wait. All right, here are most of the books that I plan on reading in February. We are missing The Poet X and The Inheritance Games. I plan on checking those out from my school library where I work. But we do have Pride and Protest, Music is History, Before I Let Go, Kindred, Sing Unburied Sing, Whiteout, and Moonrise over New Jessup. What are you planning on reading in the month of February? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, happy reading. Bye.